Hi, today we're out here at Dare Schoolhouse in Mariposa County. Very, very old schoolhouse. We're out in the backyard of it, and we're going to talk about cultural ecology and an archaeological view through cultural ecology that shows why or how Bigfoot or Sasquatch would actually survive in the environment like this. It is from Stewart's neo-evolutionism and his theory of cultural ecology that, as an archaeologist, I can understand the cultural changes through environmental adaptations. It helps me to make sense of artifacts and features, and never has it been more helpful than it has been for my research and my search for Bigfoot, Sasquatch, the big man of the Sierras. My research has been a mix of fieldwork and armchair analysis based on books, films, videos, eyewitness accounts, and physical evidence in the form of casts made from foot and handprints. The fieldwork has always been convenient. I live in Bigfoot country. It is right outside my door. It is right here. Everything a Bigfoot needs to survive, he has right here, including excellent coverage, even though there are people that live relatively close by. You could hide in here forever. Bigfoot's environment is typically extremely dangerous, very formidable terrain, places that are difficult to navigate, often with rocky outcroppings, cliffs, canyons, peaks, caves, rock shelters. Some eyewitness accounts come from places in the Sierras, the Rockies, the Appalachians, and they all bear testimony to commonalities like a very foul odor, screams through canyons. They're loud, they're throaty, they're low, sometimes they're high and shrill and long yells. There's often branches breaking or branches crashing down. Often large rocks appear to be being tossed right at the victims, if you will. They can appear in day or night, and they're very large, very hairy, and they walk upright. Often areas with these occurrences, well, the locals just call them haunted for lack of a better word. In terms of anthro-theory and Bigfoot, cultural ecology and neo-evolutionism, when we go into the field, we will be thinking about the origins of Bigfoot. This will pull in all of the archaeology. We will pose some what-ifs to validate how Bigfoot might be able to survive in this area. We will look at the types of food other animals eat, and we will observe the tracks of these animals. We will be very, very quiet and just listen. We will be loud and see what happens. We will observe the land in terms of its carrying capacity towards a number of Bigfoot that could actually survive here without degrading the environment. We will be looking for all types of food, shelter, and water. And what if Bigfoot is a kind of a troglodyte? Maybe a mountain gorilla that was built to migrate? What if Bigfoot is an ancestor of Gigantopithecus? Actually, that is a theory in and of itself, Bigfoot gigantotheory. With the claim that Bigfoot comes from the Gigantopithecus, which basically walked out of Africa about the same time that we all did, all those millions and millions of years ago, and they populated the countryside just like everybody else did. But, you know, maybe they took a different route when they saw what the Homo sapiens were doing with the Neanderthals and how quickly some of those old, ancient people have disappeared. Maybe they did not want the same thing for themselves. So they took a higher road, a hidden road. They kept amongst themselves in the forest. And they survived just like we did by doing the same things the animals do. You see what they eat and you eat it too. Even though we're looking at a bunch of deer right now, we're also seeing the back side of that mountain that, again, you can go right over into Yosemite. What I want to talk about is Bigfoot's feet. In general, they have a larger ankle and heel and shorter metatarsals. They have equal set of toes and thick ankles, and these are all logical requirements if a human foot had to be adapted to hold in excess of 500 pounds. The thick ankles, because the leg is set further forward on the foot than in man. A gigantic subhuman primate made the prints in obscure places with incredible lengths of stride and obstacle clearance, and these things cannot be duplicated by man. The depths of the imprints alone cannot be hoaxed in these places that are just too extreme. It just doesn't make sense. And if we can't come up with a logical reason that makes sense why we would have so many footprints, I'm just going to have to go with it's because they're real. It's just because they're real. When you start analyzing the prints, you'll see that they have independent toe movements, and for them to be hoaxed, you would have to really bring out some very special devices to do this. Plus, the hoaxsters, they have to be anatomy experts as well. They'd have to know how to redesign the foot to support the massive body weight and size. Hoaxers, it just doesn't make sense. Hoaxers is not the answer. Science just needs to open their minds and accept the possibility, because it's so real and it spans such a long time. The scenery that I've been showing you here today is really just to document the concept that they could be anywhere. What you cannot see behind these trees, because it's so thick, you cannot see the mountaintops, which if you just go directly over them, you will be in Yosemite National Park. You will also be in the Sierra National Forest. And even though the national park sees visitors in the millions, 4 million a year, there are still vast areas of open land. Very rarely people walk in them. And when they do, it's my concept that you have to really be looking hard. You have to be very, very observant, much more observant even than if you were looking for bear or mountain lion, which of course we do need to look for out here. Anywhere that there's bear and deer, I think you're going to find Bigfoot. I think that they actually travel with the herds. They may even be part of them in a way. Maybe they're the king of the forest. Maybe they're the gentle giants of the mountains, which is why so many people think that they are human, because they have maybe a human-like appearance. Well, I hope you've enjoyed my little tour of Mariposa's hillside and learned a little bit about why it's possible that Bigfoot could actually live here, and how easy it would be for them to just come over at will whenever they want. It's just beautiful. I don't know really exactly what they would come down here for. I don't know, maybe they're just scouting around, they just get lost. But at any rate, cultural ecology is a theory that we can use that helps validate the existence, the probability that Bigfoot are here. Now, if we ever find some, I hope that I am chosen to come and participate and observe and be a Bigfoot for a little while. Try to figure out what Bigfoot is all about. I would really love that.